Welcome to the Sports Show. Mike Max, Trent Tucker, Lavelle E. Neal, and Sid Hartman. What a Super Bowl it was. We can talk about the ads. We can talk about the game. You love that commercial with the dogs again, Lavelle.
There's a dog commercial every year.
Yeah, it's always your favorite, isn't it?
Well, all of my friends, you know.
Sure is no different.
The thing about the Super Bowl is you have so many people watching it, and women are all over these commercials, and we're sitting there arguing about commercials during the commercials. It's a game within the game now.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you know, we watched Peyton Manning down the stretch in his illustrious career. You knew Peyton Manning. You used to play catch with Peyton Manning. Right, at the Vikings, is that right? When Archie was here, you used to go chuck it around with him a little bit?
When Archie was with the Vikings Saturday morning, they brought their kids there. All I did is Archie Manning, Peyton Manning wanted to go on the field all the time, and I kept him from going on the field. But I'm still good friends with
Archie?
Archie. If I want to get somebody in that quarterback school, I get them in. And that's the hardest thing to do.
What, get him into quarterback school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Peyton Manning, though, has been pretty good for the game.
Yeah. It's a great family. Eli's a great kid. The mother, I know the mother well. And know him, Archie. The thing I remember about Archie is he got sacked 7 times when the Vikings played the Bears one time.
They've been showing that 30 for 30, and that comes up often with that Bears defense.
Got killed, but I don't think they can beat.
Well, but the point is, and Trent, we were talking about this before, is, you know, you play with Jordan and knowing when to quit and all those things. And is that one of the hardest things in sport, is to know when to quit, or is it just most guys don't have a choice and only a few do? But when you've got a guy that maybe wants to play, but he's not at the level where he can play, how does that work?
It's very hard for a lot of guys to walk away from the game because, you know, the game has been a part of your life for so many years. And from junior high school to college to the pros, you were always chasing that next level. But once you reach the pinnacle of your career, there's no more levels to chase.
So what's the scariest part? Because these guys have all the money they need. What's scary about leaving it if you've got all the money you need?
Well, figuring out what your next life is going to be. You know, what's going to be that motivator every day, you know, that's going to get you up, energize you to do something different. Because,
sense of purpose.
Because for the last, let's say, 30-plus years, the only thing you've done is play this sport, and now you have to figure out what your next life is going to look like.
Did you leave on your own terms, or did they lock you out of the gym?
I left on my own terms. All right. You know, I was very fortunate to recognize that at the age of 29, I had 4 good years left of basketball, and at the end of that 4th year, I was very fortunate to be on the same train with Michael Jordan.
At age 33.
At age 33, yes.
That's how you ride off into the sunset.
And I realized that there were some things physically that I could not do on a nightly basis.
And you knew it.
I knew it. Come playoff time, you know, you have enough games, enough days in between games where you can get your body in a position to perform at a much higher level. But over an 82-game schedule, 4 games and 5 nights, back-to-back games, the body just couldn't do it anymore.
That's the thing about Peyton Manning's, because when he had the neck problem, and the coach just got rid of him, and he ended up going to Denver. You didn't know what type of career he was going to have, and then he revitalized his career and put himself to win another Super Bowl.
Andrew Luck, of course, was part of that too. Aging is a difficult thing, though. People not knowing when to quit.
Let me tell you a story about Jordan. When Knight coached the Olympic team,
is this where he came over to your house for the barbecue?
They played a game here.
I think it is.
And I had a whole Olympic team, including Jordan, Ewing, out to my house.
For a barbecue, yeah.
And Knight was sitting there with Hank Iba and Ray Meyer, not Ray Meyer, and Jordan walked by, and Knight says, "There's going to be the greatest basketball player ever lived." That's when he was with the Olympic team.
Yeah.
Well, what about when you see, you know, I remember watching at the end of his career, Patrick Ewing. He ended up at Charlotte. You know, people forget this. These guys always have one more stop. And I remember going to the game, and you played with Patrick, you know him well. I remember going to the game and feeling sorry for him because the game, the hand-eye was just gone.
Well, physically, he couldn't do it anymore. You know, he was not the same player that he used to be, and it's hard for these guys to walk away. And when you have known them for a very long time, and it's also sad to see them in a bad situation as well. Yeah.
Lavelle,
you played with Ewing, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. Hey, the worst thing for me is
Holman coach your team? Who coached your team?
Hubie Brown and Rick Pitino.
Oh,
yeah.
Rick Pitino?
Yeah, Rick Pitino was my coach for 2 years in New York.
He was, huh?
Yeah.
You're talking about the stops that people don't remember. As a Bulls fan, watching Scottie Pippen as a Portland Trailblazer guard Michael Jordan as a Washington Wizard, it's just tough. It's still, I see pictures of that matchup, and I'm like, I can't believe these guys are in those uniforms.
But also, another thing that you're afraid of is that when you see guys get up to that age number, and you know that the wear and tear has been on their bodies, you're worried about a serious injury ending their careers, like Charles Barkley.
And Manning.
Yeah, his legs wore out. But Peyton Manning has been remarkable.
With that neck injury,
to come back from that neck injury, now to put himself physically back in the situation to play at a high level once again.
Lavelle, let me ask Lavelle one question.
Thank you.
As a baseball guy, and you look at this football monster, and baseball was America's pastime, there's no question that football is the #1 sport. With the head injuries and everything else, could baseball supplant football again? Do you see any blueprint? Because sure, you know, every Super Bowl we look at like today, and you just go, it's so big you can't believe it.
That's what I mean. What qualifies as a pastime now? Is it the amount of revenue generated? Because the NFL keeps saying we're a $12 billion industry. Baseball's like, well, we're getting to 10. Is that what it is? Are enough parents going to pull their kids out of youth football for that sport to lose its status? I'm not sure if you can do that. I think baseball has done a lot to close the gap between themselves and the NFL, but I think there's a lot of baseball fans who believe it still is a national pastime.
Why did football become the biggest? How did it surpass baseball and all the other sports? What was the key, do you think?
Well, people just like the contact, and I think the contact is the biggest thing. Was it the contact, or was it the fact that they were able to get a balanced field so that every team had a chance because there was no pure free agency? You know, with the salary cap and everything else. What does free agency have to do with that?
Well, because everybody's got the same salary cap, and they got to that soon, so everybody felt like they had a chance. Which one was more important?
The fans? Are you talking about the fans?
Yeah, why did it become so popular?
They love the contact. And for some reason, the beer drinkers are all big football fans.
Yeah.
Really?
All the beer drinkers. I go down on Sunday morning at 8:30 to do my show.
From the stadium.
And I'll be a son of a gun. All those guys are already drinking beer, and by the time they get to the game, they don't know if it's football or lacrosse.
I'll be a son of a gun. More football and basketball talk when we come back.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. RSM. This is the power of being understood. This is RSM. BMW of Minnetonka. Choose from 60 certified pre-owned BMWs at BMW of Minnetonka. And Bobby and Steve's Auto World. Go to BobbyandSteve'sAutoWorld.com for huge savings on everything from convenience store items to everything under the hood of your car.
Work-related hazards are all around us. Slips, falls, lifting incidents, auto accidents, even repetitive tasks can cause harm. If you're on the receiving end of a workplace injury, make sure you understand your rights. 1-800-ASK-GARY can assist you in getting the help you need to make sound decisions and get the benefits you're entitled to. Yikes. If you're injured on the job, call 1-800-ASK-GARY, because knowledge is power.
Affiliate of Physicians Group, LLC, DO and DC owned.
How am I going to afford a car with my bad credit?
You know, CarHop will work around your credit problems to get you approved with a really low down payment.
But what if something breaks down? I definitely can't afford that.
Not to worry. CarHop's 18-month, 18,000-mile warranty is one of the best in the business. Don't wait. You could drive today with CarHop's great tax time specials and still keep most of your tax refund.
That's actually awesome.
An odometer under 15,000 miles and an up to 5-year, 75,000-mile warranty makes it elite. The way it does this makes it a BMW. Introducing BMW Certified Pre-Owned Elite.
Choose from 60 certified pre-owned BMWs at BMW of Minnetonka.
Looking for a nice, big, juicy rack of ribs?
Fabulous chops, huge steaks, and the Buddy Bowl? Then J.D. Hoyt's is the place for you. Hoyt's opened in 1983, and Mike Andrews and his partner John White have kept this Minnesota tradition at the top of the food chain. Managing owner Pat Montague gives us a tour.
At J.D. Hoyt's, enjoy a relaxed atmosphere, great food, friendly service, private dining room, second-to-none happy hour, just blocks from the new ballpark.
Located at 394 in North Washington. Locally owned, nationally known. Hoyt's.
J.D. Hoyt's Supper Club, locally owned, nationally owned. Stop on by, say hi to Pat and the gang, have some chops, some steaks, some seafood, anything you're coming to in downtown Minneapolis. J.D. Hoyt's is there, such as a Timberwolves game on a Saturday night. Last night they played Chicago. This is an interesting side note. You played for Rick Pitino with the New York Knicks at the time. People forget, they remember him coaching Boston, they forget that he coached the Knicks as well. And I didn't realize this, but you were just saying that he was ahead of his time because you played like Golden State played? No?
For sure. We ran and shot threes, we pressed and trapped. I mean, our whole thing was to score 110 points a game. And if we could pick up the pace and force the other team to play out of his rhythm, it was going to give us a great chance to win. He had great success in New York because he had the right players to fit his system, but also he had Patrick Ewing as well.
And that don't hurt, right? Patrick Ewing in his prime, not the Charlotte version.
Right.
You wanted to score 110. How many did you guys give up?
We pressed and trapped a lot, so we were very good on defense.
Okay.
Patino's won every place he's been.
Except Boston.
There must be something about him.
You like the Timberwolves as you forget how many games they've won, etc. You like what you're seeing here? Is that the way I understand it?
Like I told you when we came in, Wiggins from January 13th until the night before last hadn't made a three-point shot. He was just not playing well. The last week or so, he's really come alive. He's been unbelievable. He scored 30-plus points now in 7 games. I think this team has got a chance to be really good. If they could get Pekovic healthy
and trade him,
they would really be good.
Okay, but so the question, Trent, it looks like Wiggins is at least now able to play. When he wants to play, he plays well. Kobe Bryant played well. Clippers played well. Cleveland played well. You don't get that every night. Does that mean he's moving in the right direction, or are there players that can't bring it every night?
He's moving in the right direction for sure. It's a long season. You know, you're going to have some ups and downs here and there. But when you look at the overall talent, you know, this young guy has a chance to be a real star in this league if he doesn't get hurt. You know, Karl Anthony Towns has played well also. When you look at these two young guys, they are the cornerstone right now of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think going forward, you know, the big question has always been, will Ricky Rubio elevate his outside game enough?
And the answer is?
Elevate enough, you know, to bring enough offense to the table to push this team forward. And look at the Western Conference. You know, it starts in the backcourt, and you see these dynamic point guards leading their teams in the right direction.
Lavelle, you wanted to add something to that?
I'm just, you know, with how many years we talked about Ricky Rubio improving his jump shot, and he's
when did he come into the league?
I know it hasn't happened, and as I've said before in the show, how can you pick and roll with Rubio if he can't hit a jumper? You know, if in the fourth quarter you need a basket, your point guard can't score for you. I just think the Wolves need to look into cultivating another point guard.
What do you think?
I think they got a great future. That's what I think.
Do you like Ricky Rubio as the point guard of the future?
Pardon me?
Do you like Ricky Rubio as the point guard of the future, or do you think they need to change it?
Well, I'll tell you what, right now that Levine is giving him a hard time. Boy, can he play.
But I would think Levine, ideally, you don't want him to be a point guard because he looks like he's such a creator and an athlete, Trent.
Well, I mean, you know, if he could become Gary Payton, somewhat of Gary Payton, not, you know, we don't expect him to be Gary Payton, a Hall of Fame type player. But if he can bring that type of play consistently on a nightly basis, I mean, what he can do with his size and athleticism can be a huge plus to your team.
Could he be a point guard?
He can learn to be a point guard. You know, he may not be your traditional type point guard.
I mean, you see what Russell Westbrook was starting out, where, you know, Russell became a point guard?
But, you know, with his ability, you can use him in so many different ways to help your team. You know, he doesn't have to be the traditional point guard that's going to penetrate and set guys up time and time again. You can use his size as a point guard to post up, to force the defense now to have to come double team him on the block. Now he becomes a passer and a distributor from a different area on the floor to make his team better.
Sid, you have something you want to say?
Well, he's leading the league in assists.
Rubio is?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's leading the league or not.
Doesn't matter. You can't have a point guard that's not averaging 10 points a game.
The only thing I don't like about him...
Say that to Sid. Hey, Lavelle has something to say to you.
A starting point guard in NBA cannot be averaging less than 10 points a game.
Okay.
That's my problem.
All I know is that the thing I don't like about him, he turns the ball over a lot.
Who, Rubio or Levine?
Rubio.
This chair is no good either.
Well, you're in the middle of a...
Hey, hang on. We're still in a segment here. We'll get you a new chair at some point. We'll get your own lazy boy. You know.
I was wrong about Levine because he was turning the ball over. It's like when he stepped on the court trying to play point guard, that's when other teams will make runs. But he's played better, and I think Sam picking up the tempo with the offense has kind of helped him out.
Well, let's take a break, see if we can get Sid reconfigured here. We will be back in one way, shape, or form. I promise you. Stay with us.
We'll just stand for the next.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Escape MSP, the fastest 60 minutes of your life.
Same time next week.
When it drives and looks like new, you'll want to treat it like new. Certified pre-owned by BMW.
Choose from 60 certified pre-owned BMWs at BMW of Minnetonka.
Hi, I'm John Hines. And Bobby and Steve's Auto World is the place you should come for car washes, oil changes, tires. As a matter of fact, anything and everything under the hood of your car. You're in great hands at Bobby and Steve's Auto World, where serving people is the most important part of their business.
Go into Bobby and Steve's Auto World for great savings on all Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. Plus, get $60 on your World Rewards card. Schedule your appointment at BobbyandStevesAutoWorld.com or just stop in.
You're watching CW-23.
Yep.
Welcome back to Sports Show. Before we move on to the Gophers, do you like?
I like Zach Levine.
If they keep Levine, Wiggins, and Towns together, and then you move. Do you understand? Ricky Rubio doesn't seem that old. He since he came in as a rookie, there's no one left on the roster that was him as a rookie. It tells you how much they've changed this thing and that's not a good sign because that means they didn't do it right.
Well, I like Zach Levine a great deal. I think he has grown throughout the season so far. When you talk about, Levine and Towns and Wiggins might be in the cornerstone moving forward, you're going to have to add some outside shooting to go with this group. Somebody has to be on that team that can stretch the defense, to create some driving lanes, but also to open up some space for the guys down low to play more one-on-one basketball.
Lavelle, do you like what Sam Mitchell does as a coach, or do you think that there's a chance that he, some of these fragile young players, he gets in their face and it works against him?
I think I've seen steps forward. At the beginning of the year, I think we're all questioning his substitution patterns. How's he playing the old guys versus the young guys? Why Tyus Jones can't get on the floor? But as the season's gone along, we've seen Levine improve. We've seen the tempo of the offense pick up. There's some encouraging things. And they're in the lottery again this year. They have a chance of getting a high-quality player.
Do you like what Sam Mitchell has done with this team? Or do
yes, I do. I like a lot. They've played a lot of teams that lose by 4 or 5 points, like Mr.
Trent Tucker said.
Mr. Basketball.
Tucker said they need some outside shooting. The outside shooting has killed them.
Well, Kevin Martin said that strained finger or whatever, so they can't play him.
But they don't have the outside shooting.
Kevin Martin is a good outside shooter. Don't kid yourself.
And Ricky Rubio is not.
Yeah.
He's hurt.
All right, Gopher basketball team. Trent, of course, you were part of it. They went to Northwestern. They beat by 25 at home to Northwestern. Northwestern has not played well since then until the Gophers showed up the other night and they destroyed the Gophers. It looks like to me Northwestern got any shot they wanted any time they wanted. Tell me more.
They did. It was a team that was not prepared to defend Northwestern at all. You know, they swung the ball from strong side to weak side. They were able to get any shot that they wanted.
That's an alarming.
Because
this is your second time playing this team, and you saw them once. You know what they want to do to you.
Well, you know, that's a lack of effort. Guys not paying attention to detail, and you know what most teams are going to run. But when guys are open time and time again, you know, that's a lack of effort and commitment.
That's a good point, because a person whose basketball opinions I value highly told me once, he says, you don't have to be a great athlete to play defense. John Paxson played with no cartilage in his knees. You play defense here.
Right.
Is that true, Sid?
Well,
said, is that true?
They don't have any players.
Well, that's their fault. Go find them.
Coach up the ones you have.
They will have the players next year.
We're talking about this year, though. You got to talk about this year. You can't keep putting this off to next year so you don't get anybody mad at you.
That's right.
Okay, so what's the problem this year? You guys want to push it off, push it off. Well, people want to hear it now.
It's hard to figure them out. They played Indiana. At one time, they led Indiana at the end of the game.
Right.
They played Michigan State right to the hilt.
Yep.
Northwestern, I don't know. Northwestern had every shot they wanted.
And they have better players.
There's no defense.
Tyler Johnson, one of the young men that went to Minneapolis North, is a great basketball football player, committed to the Gophers. What does it mean to the city conference when, you know, somebody is good enough that the Gophers want him? I mean, what does that do?
That's a huge boost for us. I mean, to have a guy right here in the city who is good enough to play at the Division I level, whether it's basketball or football, you know, that's a wonderful thing for all of us in the city conference to see. It's only going to help produce more participation in the athletic departments at our high schools. And when you have a kid who's good enough to do that, that's a special thing.
Did you like the Gophers recruiting class, football-wise?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? That's the best you've given
I would like to see ESPN and all these recruiting services take what their ratings are when they commit or sign.
Yeah.
Then I want to see 4 years
4 or 5 years down the road.
Yeah, what they did.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, they'd be so wrong, it'd be unbelievable.
What did you think overall? Did you think the Gophers were able to keep enough? Were you?
Pardon me?
Were you okay with the way they kept players? Didn't keep enough after Jerry left? What did you think?
I think the Gophers had a good recruiting class.
But who knows?
According to what the ESPN people like that.
But you don't trust those people.
Nobody knows. I know this. They got a quarterback who will play in the National Football League.
Seth Green?
That's correct.
You sure of that?
Because they're saying he could play another position.
He's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of talent. But there's a reason why he didn't end up at Oregon. He's going to get some snaps here during spring practice, right? Because Leitner's recovering.
Yeah, Leitner's sure he'll get a chance.
So him and who's the other kid? Parra? What's the other quarterback that's going to split time with Seth in spring practice?
I'm drawing a complete
I can't remember his name. Anyway, he's
the one that
lifted
lifted the red shirt on
and see how much talent he's got. So I'm curious to see. I've never seen him play, so I want to see what he's got.
You said you're pretty comfortable with him, though, huh?
Pardon me?
You like Seth Green as a quarterback?
Quarterback?
Yeah, you like Seth Green as a quarterback down the road somewhere.
All I know is people who saw him, who know something about football, when he played at
Eastridge,
he thought he was great. All the big schools were after him, and he finally decided he wanted to stay here. His father's back here working, I think.
Yeah. How much of an impact is he going to have, though, right away? It may take a couple years.
One quick last question, Trent. Does it do these kids any good to graduate early from high school and start school in January of their senior year, or do they miss out on too much high school-wise?
I think it's very good for them, you know, to get acclimated to a college campus as quickly as you can, because it's a huge adjustment for high school players to go into the college campus for the first time.
Take a break, come back, stay with us, The Sports Show.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Case Law, for all your legal needs, not your typical law firm. Griffin Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than to need us and not know us. Edge Marketing and Promotional Products. From T-shirts to swag, featuring over 100,000 products. We can put your logo on anything. And Vincent's Limousine Service, serving your corporate and private transportation needs since 2005.
If you guys could go on a free shopping spree anywhere, where would you go? I'd go to the grocery store. Pizza, ice cream. I'd go shop for clothes. You know where I go? I'd go to Ticket King. Ticket King! At Ticket King, you can buy great seats for the Vikings, the Wild, the Timberwolves, and of course the Twins. We love the Twins. Yep, this is where I go. Vikings, Twins, Wild, Timberwolves, Gophers, theater, and concerts too. For details, go to TicketKingOnline.com. Any ticket, anytime, anywhere. It's the real thing. It's Ticket King. Right, Dad?
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's for sure.
Take every step without hesitation. Anticipate your next move with certainty. Because our trusted advisors help you prepare for challenges to your business. Our focus is always on you, so your focus is always forward. Experience the power of being understood. RSM, Audit, Tax, and Consulting for the Middle Market.
You're watching CW-23.
Welcome back to the Sports Show. Twins, we've got just a minute left. What does Carlos Quentin do for them? Why bother?
Not much. I think he'll end up being a player at Rochester. You know what? He had knee problems last year, so he kind of aborted his comeback attempt last year as well. But there was a time there when he was with the White Sox, he hit for power and drove him some runs. He's one of those guys you come in, one of those extra players at camp that comes in.
Every year, right? You see
there's always a reclamation project in camp, and he's one of them.
Take a shot. What the heck, huh? All right, we're at that final shot of the show. We've seen the Super Bowl. We've talked about the Timberwolves, the Gophers, the Twins, and now we turn Sid Hartman.
Get to talk now, Sid.
Sid, if you would look into that camera.
I think that Carolina will win
it's a great
the
team,
Super Bowl.
But you know what else you think?
Huh?
You think that the Gophers are going to be good next year. See you next week.
I think the Gopher back.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. Escape MSP, the fastest 60 minutes of your life. RSM. This is the power of being understood. This is RSM. BMW of Minnetonka. Choose from 60 certified pre-owned BMWs at BMW of Minnetonka. And Bobby and Steve's Auto World. Go to BobbyandStevesAutoWorld.com for huge savings on everything from convenience store items to everything under the hood of your car.